Hello, everyone. This is Deborah Brown-Volkman, and I am the podcast host for Wisdom Comes With Wrinkles. This podcast really is where guests come and they share their lessons learned, because I believe that getting older in the workplace is not something to be afraid of. It is something to be celebrated. You have battle scars, you've been through a lot, and because you've been through a lot, you have the ability to give back. And I love that. I love that. You know, wisdom comes with wrinkles, where you say, oh my God, I have all this wisdom. And then you look around and you go, oh, I also have wrinkles. And I wanted to do something with it. And I wanted to reach out to other people who are also doing something with it. So my guest is Candace Mae. Hello, Candace.
Hi, Deborah. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited. So just from a logistical thing, some people are listening to this via audio and some people are watching this via, video. So I take notes. I have a little yellow pen. I take notes. I like to capture what guests say. I like to capture what they say in the moment. So if you're watching this and I am looking down, it is because I am looking down. I am looking down. So we have Candace Mae. She is the founder of Candace Mae Leadership Development. Candace is doing amazing, incredible things. We are in an entrepreneurial think tank together and we met, and I just said, oh my God, this woman is just a dynamo. She's strong, she's powerful, she's been through a lot, and she's here to share her story with you. And Candace, I'm just grateful that you're here. So thank you.
Thanks for having me, Deborah. Yes, I've been through a journey.
Yes. All right. So before we start, so how old are you?
I'm 59 years young.
Yay! I'm 57, right? So that's how we roll. That's how we roll, right? You get older, you're going to get back. So tell us, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Well, I've been administration and VP and operate applications manager for enterprise implementation of systems. I worked in IT for over 22 years. I worked with the government. I worked in accounting. I have a bachelor's degree with business administration and a master's degree in interactive telecommunications with project management as the emphasis. So working in teams, developing teams, cross-functional teams, getting people on board, even when they don't report to me, has been something I've done for years. That goes a lot to be said with leadership. They say, if you want to test your leadership ability, work with volunteers or people you don't have any authority over. Wow. And if you can get them to buy in and follow and meet deadlines, then you're doing well, right?
Yes, because you're not paying them and they don't have to be there.
Yeah, that you can't threaten them with a job performance or
like,
pay cut or demotion.
Like, okay, we'll leave, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So everyone deserves to be led well. That's my philosophy.
Oh, I really like that. Now, you and I, we had like a little conversation before the actual recording, and you were telling me a story about how there was a bully boss. And so can you share that story with us?
Yeah. Now, I use that term bully boss, and somebody said, what did you say? I said, a boss that was a bully.
Okay.
A bully boss. So I was working at a job site. I don't want to say where necessarily. And this individual was brought in from the outside, took over a department of 35 people. And I just watched the dynamics completely change. He came in and literally was a bully to all the subordinates, and how he treated his superiors was completely different than how he treated his subordinates. And he would just unethical, raise his voice, get in their face, micromanage, not appreciate their qualities and their strengths, undermine disempower,
Wow.
so many horrible experiences I observed and watched and even experienced myself under this particular individual. So that's the story I want to share.
Okay.
I want to share that I saw how someone who's not a good leader can destroy lives. We had some magnificent people on the team with high skills, high performance, completely shattered, second guessing themselves, doubting their abilities. And these were top-notch people who were sought after by Google and so forth. And then all of a sudden they were like kind of devastated and questioning their ability to even function. It was just distraught to observe this. So I think my lesson is that we need leaders who lead well. We need leaders who are competent, have the ability to connect with their staff, and have strong character. It's all three of those. Oftentimes, leaders will focus on competence only, and they'll look for technical skills. And that's fine, but technical skills and people skills are completely different skill sets. And when you're in leadership, you really need to have those people skills, those soft skills, we call them. And so connecting with your people through empathy, compassion, there's 22 relational nutrients that Dr. John Townsend talks about in his book, People Fuel, that I absolutely love. I bring that into my coaching, having people be able to use those for communication. I'm a communication and behavior specialist, so understanding each other's personalities and the different styles of personalities and how to adjust your approach to meet people where they are. Those are all critical skills for leadership. So,
all right. So Candace, I just want to go back for a moment, right? So there were, you said, when you and I were having this conversation, you said there were 35 people, right? So you witnessed 35 people, top-notch people, top of their game, go to really questioning themselves. And I might even meet them at a certain point where they have imposter syndrome. What happened to me? And how you're in the wrong places where you feel bad about yourself. So I'm trying to get a little context. So were you one of those people and then you left and said, I'm going to do something with it? Like, were you one of the 35?
I was one of those 35, though my story was a little different. I had a lot going on in my life with my kids and their health and different aspects. So I chose not to leave the job. I wanted to stay in because it was location, things going on outside with my children needed my attention. I did not want to jump board, though, because I was already working with leadership and developing the leadership skills to have my own company in leadership development. I decided to embrace this as an opportunity to kind of witness what was going on. And you can have great bosses, but if you've never experienced a really bad boss, you really don't know how bad it can be. So this was an opportunity for me to really kind of observe and connect with my team. So I would send videos to them every day by email to empower them, encourage them, and lift them up. And then this boss was like, "You're not allowed to send videos to people. You can't, I mean, nothing.
Like ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. Like I was salaried, and yet now all of a sudden I had to take medical leave part-time for my daughter's health. And so he gave me a really hard time. He didn't want me to be able to do that, to take time for my family. So then he wanted to punish me and make me micromanage me by having to put in my time by the minute of everything I was working on daily. It was tedious and silly, and legally he should not have been able to do that. But you play with the rules that are there. So what I did was I could see and observe the behaviors. Colleagues couldn't explain what was happening. They would say, he's bullying us, but they couldn't verbalize the manipulation that was going on or how. And I have that gift. I can observe things. I can document things. I have a legal secretarial background. I I can do legal pleadings. I can track all of these things. So I was able to track all the things that were going on with me and the contradictions and the manipulation. I could see what was happening with other people. But, you know, human resources doesn't want you to talk about other people's experience. They only want
you to talk about yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what,
yeah.
so what happened to so I'm wondering, how long did you stay? And then what happened to this person?
Well, well, over a course of 2 years,
Wow.
I was working with senior administration. You know, you go up the food chain, right? And he was writing bad reviews, performance reviews, and twisting facts. I had detailed documentation of various events. So what I discovered was they were playing the time wait game by making you go through the channel, because human resources only gives you 30 days to respond to any event. After 30 days, you can't bring it to them as a complaint, right? Okay. So they would tie it up with the next level of administration, and then you miss your window. And then when you go to HR at this particular institution, you had to cite policy that was broken. You couldn't just say what you describe behavior. You had to be able to cite the policy, what was broken, what should have been done, what recommendations you recommend to improve things. Well, because of my background and skill set, I was able to do all that, but I had to wait for the next time something came up. So there was a review, and in a review, he referenced something that occurred a year or two ago. Well, I had all of this documentation, which was my window of opportunity. 30 days, I could quickly respond. So I immediately went to HR, wrote up all the details, the attachments. I think we were in the double digits of A through Z exhibits. It's a 144-page document I submitted to Human Resources on this behavior, on this bullying approach, giving exact examples of things that had happened, and dates and times, and recommendations on 360 reviews, so that the Human Resources could get feedback from the subordinates as well as the supervisors and colleagues, because this particular supervisor was not liked by other colleagues at his same level. You know, they saw the manipulation that he was doing even with them. Okay. But nobody was pushing it or was able to capture the details and express it in a way that had any meaning or substance. So being able to cite the policies that were broken, being able to cite the bullying behavior, being able to cite recommendations of how to correct the behavior. And
then what happened? Did it lead to?
I won, but you know, I was still there under him. So then you fear retaliation.
Yeah, right? Well, I mean, you win, but you don't really win.
Exactly. You know, I mean, so I took an opportunity to move to another area, and I went from a permanent employee to a contract employee, but just to get away from that situation. But it wasn't long before they moved him out of that location into a different location, and took away all of his access to lead people. He just was responsible for systems.
Okay. Well, you know what? Congratulations to you. I mean, that's a really big deal. So what happened next, right? So you said, you know, I did this, but I was building my company, right? So you use this as an opportunity to, we try out your leadership, and then you segued into your own business. So like, what happened?
Well, I was a trainer also. I volunteered my time outside of my main core with the Human Resources for training across the institution, and that was a good experience, and people really loved my training. They said I was like a breath of fresh air. Some people have been there 22 years and double digits, and they would say, like, there's something different about you, Candace Mae. You bring so much more energy and hope. It's like a swoop of fresh air to us. It doesn't feel like it feels very sincere and tangible, right? So that was encouraging. But I can tell you, in the middle of doing that training, while I was still under that supervisor, we had some admin staff who came into the training room, and they were bullying people themselves, because I think the leadership gets key people to do their dirty work or to do things that are unethical. And I think there are people who think that they have to follow orders, whether they agree with it or not. And I want to say, as one of the lessons, I think we need to realize we have a choice. We don't have to blindly follow when we know something is wrong, right? And so, and when they first came into the training room, I panicked. I was like, why are they here? They're spying on me. Why, they're going to do something back to retaliate against me because I'm in here and I'm training people about leadership in a better way. And then at one point, they finally made a key statement to me that totally made me relaxed. And that was, what if you have a boss that's telling you to do stuff that, you know, you don't agree with and you have to follow? And that's where I was like, oh, so some of the things that they're doing, maybe because they just felt they didn't have a choice.
Okay.
But they do have a choice. We always have a choice, right? We can come back and say, I don't agree in this approach and why, and handle things a little bit differently. As I started to say, there's competence, there's connection, and there's character. Those three things are a big part of leadership. So most people focus on the competence, the hard skills, and they say, oh, you're doing a great skill, you're very technical, let's raise you up to another new promotion. We call that the Peter principle. People get promoted based on a competent or technical skill, something they've done even successfully for the company, but they don't have the people skills. They don't, and people skills and technical skills are completely different. And we need to develop our leaders. We need to actually develop a leadership pipeline within the company, so people are growing in their character. They're growing in their ability to communicate and connect with others, to coach them, and for growth, for good performance. Because too many times people will give a performance review and say, this is a problem, you're not doing very well here, go fix it. And they don't give them any advice on how to grow or how to fix those challenges, especially if they're in a soft skill area, right?
Yes. And then also during the performance review, a lot of times that's the first time you even find out there's a problem. Like you think
right, and that's not
boss, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, why didn't you say something?
Right. There should be no surprises.
No surprises.
Review. It should be constant coaching throughout the year, right? So yeah. So these are
all right. So I want to ask you, because I've been taking notes feverishly because I absolutely love this. So we have the three pieces. We have the connection, we have the character, and we have the competence. And you and I also had a conversation about the character piece, that there's so much around compassion and empathy, and there's not really around character. And I said, wow, that's really great. I don't really see that. I don't really see that at all. So I really feel like you're onto something. And I'm also wondering, do you think that you went through that experience to get you where you are today? Like, did it bring you to the work that you're doing today?
I don't think it alone brought me to this. This is what I do as far as personal growth has been a passion of mine since as far back as I can remember. Specifically around age 13, I really dove into a lot of personal growth. So I call myself a personal growth junkie. I really
me
spend
too.
a lot of time in developing myself, and spiritually, emotionally, physically, and spiritually all. And I call that holistic approach to coaching. So even when I'm coaching business owners and executives and women in leadership, I am focusing on them as a whole. I think it's important to integrate who we are so that we're walking in our values. We know what we value, where our decisions are based in our truth and connected in all that we do. And as a business owner, we have intention around developing the culture that we want as our workplace. Because without intention in developing that culture, chaos breaks out.
That's right. That's another C. All right. That's another thing. All right, but this
Candace Mae covers the C's. What can I say?
She's all the C's. All right. character, what does that look like in your coaching? Because character is something that's like who you are in your core, right? So how do you help with character?
Well, part of leadership, a large part, if you have competence, connection, and character, if you have to only focus on one, character is the one you need to focus on. Because if you don't have character, you're not connecting with your people, you're not building that trust. And if trust is broken, then people aren't going to follow you. And if people aren't following you, you're not going to have a solid organization or be able to grow anywhere of significance, right? So character gets into your values, really. Do you value the people that you lead? Because if you don't value them, you shouldn't be leading them.
Mm-hmm.
The leadership is different than management. Leadership isn't about what the people can do for you. I believe a lot of people have grown up with the authoritarian leadership style that I'm in charge and you do what I say. Don't ask me any questions. You're here to serve me. It's all about me as a leader and not you. But if you look at a company, any aspect of a company on any level, whether it's janitorial, whether it's accounting, whether it's the manufacturing process, whether it's sales, accounting, everything is driven by people. People are your biggest asset, and we need to realize that.
Yeah.
Too many companies put no money into the training of their people. So we want to nurture everyone, meeting them in their needs and letting them know they're cared for. But then we equip many, which is building those competent technical skills, right, to get the job done. And then the maybe 20% we really develop at the character level, where we're growing them as an individual and their ability for critical thinking, their ability to have compassion, the ability to build that trust and understand the elements of what trust looks like, right? Most people know the words, but they don't break it apart to understand what these words mean in everyday life and what I do to live them out. And that's what I like to get into, very practical application that is transforming behavior, right?
That's cool. It sounds like you're doing great work in the world.
Thank you.
You get a little clap for that. All right. So before we wrap up, is there anything that you would like to say? Anything we haven't covered that you'd like to say?
Yeah, I have a brand new book, Heaven
Look
Within.
at that. Heaven Within. Okay.
Restoring Wholeness for Better Leadership. It published June 28th, 2022. And it took international bestseller in 6 countries.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm very excited with this. It is life-changing. There's 16 endorsements inside the book. If they go to Amazon.com, you can find it. Okay. You can also find it at Barnes & Noble and Walmart and leadershipbooks.com. Okay. But Amazon is easy to remember, right? And you'll find reviews there as well. And you can download the first chapter. heavenwithin.CandaceMae.com is another page that has a recording of me talking about the book, and you can actually download. There's 2 workbooks that are downloadable PDFs. So you're getting 3 books for the price of 1. And okay. Those, if you're not used to personal growth and you want to get a taste of it, the companion workbook is awesome. There's something for each chapter. Provides you tools and resources how to improve yourself, resources to help other people. It's great material.
Okay. All right. So that's on Amazon. So I can, in this, in the podcast, I put contact information so I can have a link to Amazon. And then how about your website? What is your website?
CandaceMae.com. CandaceMae.com.
We got all the C's. We got Candace, we got connection, we got character, we got compassion, we have
confidence.
Confidence. Yes. And you're cute. I don't know. I just had to throw it.
That's a C.
That's a C. All right. I was looking for something.
Thank you.
And caring.
Oh, I appreciate that. You know what? I developed leadership that cares.
Communication,
attitude, relationships, retention, emotional intelligence, and sales enablement. So thank you. Candace Mae cares. That's right.
Okay. All right. So Candace, thank you very much for being here. This is Deborah Brown-Volkman. I'm the podcast host of Wisdom Comes With Wrinkles. I want to thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.